So Cashmere will give you like a booklet that you can purchase. I think it's like $15 and it goes automatically onto your school account that your parents owe the school, and that has a map inside of it, and you can also you're encouraged to glue your timetable that you're given. So, and every timetable has like the block, so our school is divided into certain blocks for particularly each subject, and they are labelled like A through E or something, and whatever letter is on your timetable and then whatever number the class is, then you can look on your map and see like, oh, I'm going to A2, so you go to A block and you walk down the corridor and you find the room with that has a label on the door that says A2, and then you find
your leaders will take you around the school and they'll show you where all your like basic classes will be, like your English and social studies and music, whatever.
And when does the peer leader day happen?
Isn't it like the first day,
yeah,
and then you kind of hang out with them for like 2 weeks, for like a few days?
And also for the first couple of weeks, the teachers are really loose and like
Chill.
chill, and
You get to
they
play.
if you get to class like 5 minutes late, they're completely fine with that because they know you're new to the school.
6 weeks, the teachers will just, if you're however late you are, the teachers know that you're still trying to adjust to the school environment. So yeah, you don't have to worry about that because they know that you're trying to get there as fast as you can.
You still want to go to class? You don't feel worried about walking in?
Yeah, sometimes you just wanna like walk around, try to sneak in quickly.
But if you explain to the teachers why you're late, if you like had a problem or something, they're like fine with it, and you won't get like punished.
And also like other kids, everybody's in the same boat as you, so nobody's gonna like look at you and be like, oh, she was late.
And often if you get like lost with someone or you're late with someone else, like if you're traveling in like a pair, it makes it a bit more kind of less intimidating when you are late to kind of be traveling with someone else because you know that they're there to kind of help you find that class as well.
It's a good segue into making new friends.
Yeah,
How did you
exactly.
find it with making new friends?
So basically the first couple of days are just all about making friends. There isn't really many proper lessons or anything. You just all your form class just all make friends for the first couple of days.
Like if you introduce yourself to someone like in your class, maybe like make a joke with them or something, then you can go and you could like find other people that they know or that you know, and then you can just kind of all bond, and then you just know a bunch of people. And
Like making new friends is kind of always sometimes hard, but it's just like kind of be open to new people and diversity and new experiences, and that can really help because sometimes just don't go into it with a closed mindset.
Yeah, and like on the first day of school and like the first couple of days, you do like lots of like team building activities, and like you get to meet, people, talk to them, talk about like their interests and stuff, and then you might find like a relation with them, and then you start hanging out with them and stuff, and it's really fun doing those activities. It really helps like people like open up and stuff. Yeah.
And you're almost guaranteed to have someone in your class that you know, so that helps make it a bit less scary.
Actually, surprisingly easy to make new friends because there's always going to be someone who has similar interests to you. And like Max said, I had I think 3 people from my school in my class, so you're guaranteed to at least have one person.
And also just remember that everyone else is in the same boat as you. Everyone else is trying to make friends as well, so yeah, it's not that hard.
there might be people in your class that are already like good friends and that know each other, and you may feel like, I definitely feel like I was on the outside of my class a little bit, just because I came from a super small school and like people already knew each other from different sports and things. So just be like aware that you might not make a big group of really strong friends right away.
And like Abby said, with sports, when you kind of go into joining extracurricular sort of things, that's a really, really good way to like meet new people and make new friends, because you already know that they have a similar interest to you because you're doing the same thing together. So that's also a really good way just to kind of be guaranteed to make new friends and kind of meet new people with similar interests to you. So yeah.
Getting into sports teams is actually really easy because on the school webpage there's actually a whole sports section where you can go onto it, you see what time this is at, and you have the teacher's email who is running it to apply for it, and you can just email them at any time to get any information.
To be a part of it, you've got to get in early while you still can, and doing that is by like looking at the notices and seeing all the different groups and activities you can join. And yeah, you've got to get in early.
And also there's like a range of different levels for each of the activities and sports that you're interested in. So if you want to apply for something like basketball or something, you don't just have to play competitively. They've also got social teams and less competitive teams, so you can basically just choose what level you want to play at.
How do you find out about the teams? How do you find out?
So there's a school like notices page, and sometimes your form teacher will read it out, or your form teacher will guide you on how to get to that page. Also, if you're super interested in something like the Kashmir High School Volunteer Army, so you really like helping others and volunteering, like people have Instagram pages, and there's like a bunch of different resources, and you can ask your form teacher, your friends, maybe like a head of faculties. So maybe like go to Mr. Kahu if it's something like a sport, and then they can help you out.
With the like extracurricular stuff, like I really recommend especially stuff like house events and getting involved with those, because you actually end up building relationships with the older students and stuff, which can be really beneficial because you get to know people who have been there for a long time. You can get advice from them and stuff.
Yeah, and there's so many different sports and opportunities. Like if there's not enough room for one, there's definitely going to be a different one you can play. One of the best ways to prepare that's really helpful that your primary school can do is with tests. If your teachers just say no talking in a test and give proper high school test conditions, it's quite helpful.
Working hard at primary school is a really good way of setting yourself up to do quite well in high school, because I think where lots of people get stuck is at primary school. If you kind of just do things at the last minute, you can get by pretty easily. But at high school, starts to become a time where if you don't work as hard as you can sometimes get a bit confused, because the teachers aren't always there they're not always around to help you because you're moving around to different classes quite a bit. So just working hard is quite a good way of setting yourself up for a good experience at high school.
I know what Sophia said, as long as you're putting in the effort, then there will be classmates and tutors and older students and your teachers that are willing to help you with your classwork. So I wouldn't stress out over oh my god, I'm not going to be good enough at school.
Just a note, one of the questions was about someone who was dyslexic, and I have a brother who's dyslexic, I have friends who are dyslexic. While some of them seem to struggle a little bit, you just need to make an effort and reach out to get that help, because if you don't, you are going to end up just being a little lost and confused. So you really do need to speak up if you're struggling, because otherwise you will be kind of left behind.
It's okay to say, oh, I'm not that great at a certain subject, or I need help with this, because there are so many people that might be similar to you, and there are also people to help you, so there's no need to worry about it.
If you are dyslexic, you can actually tell your teacher who is testing you, and you can get extra help. I think it's maybe a little bit of extra time and support, which is really helpful.
And with the asking help that they were talking about, sometimes it can seem a bit scary to ask for help from teachers or peers, because it is a little bit embarrassing. But at Kashmir they do it in a really good way. So if you don't want to talk to the teacher face to face, you can send them an email, or you can get one of your parents to contact, or tell a friend or something. But the thing is, it's really easy to get help, but you just have to be okay with asking for it. So that's another thing that would really, if you could practice that primary school, that would be good for high school quite a bit.
Yeah, the school also has a wide range of counsellors and people you can go to get your problems sought after. So whatever problem you have, there's always going to be a person that can help you get over that.
question about how many classes are in a day, you'll have 5 different classes. You'll have your first 2 periods, and then you'll have form time, which is where you get to have 10 minutes with your form class to check out the notices. Then you'll have interval, then you'll have another period, and then you'll have lunch, and then you have your last 2 periods of the day.
And
Each period lasts 1 hour long.
Yep.
Apart from like Wednesdays, which are 15-minute periods because there's sport at 2:30.
So to start with, they really just test to see what level you guys are at. So for the first couple of weeks, it's not that hard, and then they really get to your level of and they try to improve your understanding of everything.
Like it's not necessarily harder, it's just like things like in the last couple of weeks of term you'll have lots of assessments and they'll kind of like pile up a little bit quicker, and like it's not necessarily harder, it's just more like focused, and I say that the workload is more consistent. Like in primary you'll like maybe have like a little test there or like a little assignment there, whereas like at Kashmir here it's more like, okay, here's your next thing to do. So it's not necessarily difficult, it's just like there's always work to do.
Is it manageable if you just put in a bit of effort?
Yeah,
Definitely.
especially for
Yeah.
like tests, if you do like a little bit of revision,
Yeah.
then like it's pretty easy and you can get decent marks.
Tell us more, Sophia.
I was just gonna say, like, yes, when you come into high school you feel like really overwhelmed because like there may be some things that you haven't like ever learned about, but like they're not just gonna throw the work at you, they're gonna like help, they're gonna teach you, and like I feel like I've really improved academically being here and like being with kind of my own skill level, and yeah, I just thought that was really like good that they teach you to like.
Yeah, I felt like I've been learning a lot more, and you don't have too much more schoolwork compared to primary, but if you get it done in class, you also won't have too much homework.
So just on the homework, how does the homework work?
We've got a Google site called Google Classroom. Then your teacher can post tasks that you need to do, and it'll have a due date and instructions, then you complete that.
Do you get time during class to do it, or is it a separate thing?
Most of the stuff.
It depends on the class.
It depends on the class, and it also depends on the teacher. Like the language, you're more likely to have more homework, or then.
Yeah.
But if you like do lots of times it's like, oh, finish the work that we did in class for homework, and if you have done it and you don't have any homework, then that's great.
Also, if you just do like 10 minutes every night, then the homework really doesn't pile up. If you just get a little bit done like very often, then it's really easy to manage.
Like the thing is though, if you're finding your classwork too easy, just talk to your teacher, and there's a good chance the rest of your class is feeling the same way, or even if they're not, they can sort of help you, maybe give you some extra harder work, or like it's not, if you're finding it too easy, that's not like the end all be all, you can get harder work.
Yeah, I found that when we first started like actually learning things, they didn't like just push us into the deep end. They started expanding on the stuff we already knew. Like in maths we might have expanded on algebra a little more, in English we would do similar things, but they would be like slightly harder, but it's like really good.
It's not, I wouldn't necessarily say it's a big jump, like it's a natural progression that I think most people are ready for. So when you come to Kashmir, like I think most people have been taught like a significant amount of knowledge and things, and they'll go over things that you don't understand, and then they'll just like expand on your knowledge.